Nightly greetings, one and all. Denise Osorio here, homegrown and feeling blue to bring you PTV News Now. Atop our news leaderboard for tonight's stories. China is a known purveyor of conspiracy theories and fake news, especially on its claims on what is rightfully known as the West Philippine Sea. Its latest stab at prevarication, insistence the Philippine government seek China's permission before passage or sailing into and across Ayungin Shoal, maritime waters well within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone and the West Philippine Sea. Thus, the Philippine government issued a crystal clear reminder that whatever activities it performs or ought to execute in Ayungin Shoal does not and never will entail seeking consent in any way, shape, or form from China. The National Security Council stressed through the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea Area Task Force West, they never hinted on, let alone sought China's permission for its rotation and resupply missions to troops aboard the rusting BRP Sierra Madre on the 4th of March this year. Even more, the Task Force WPS Area Task Force West slammed Beijing for its deliberate acts of disinformation to bolster its sweeping claims on the South China Sea, many of which overlap the country's maritime territories. If there is one virtue that stands out and elevates Pope Francis over his predecessors, it is his consistent and exceptional display of humility that comes with no pretensions or hint of skepticism or reluctance. Since the get-go when he began his reign and control of the papacy, the people's pope, and the GOAT among all pontiffs in President Marcos Jr.'s estimation, Pope Francis' modesty or simplicity was in full display. He chose the simpler and smaller confines of Casa Santa Marta instead of the papal apartments in St. Peter's Basilica, wore the simple white vestments and worn shoes instead of the traditional gilded papal garb. He also rode in small compact cars that did not seem to comfortably fit his rather bigger master's size. For meals and food, he chose to break bread at the Casa Santa Marta cafeteria together with the kitchen staff, gardeners, utility people responsible for the upkeep of the residence. Pope Francis left this earth the same way he lived, by staying involved. The words of CNN international correspondent Ben Widerman, citing how he opted to pay a visit to a prison in Rome on Holy Thursday, greet pilgrims and the faithful on his wheelchair near St. Peter's Square, and delivering the Easter blessings and message on Resurrection Day despite failing health. Ultimately, in his final will, he expressly made clear his wish to be laid to rest in the Basilica Maria Maggiore instead of the tradition and elegant St. Peter's Basilica, where almost all those before him are interred. All throughout his life, he lived humbly and simply, preaching Christ's message to love the destitute, disenfranchised, and those living in the margins, much like Francis or Saint Francis of Assisi, from whom he sought to be called as Pope. At this moment, let's lend our eyes and ears to my colleague in PTV's Pine City studios for what's brewing of late in the Cordilleras. Audrey?
Naimbag Arabi, nagtipon ti puwersa dagiti kamang ti Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency kan Department of Transportation Cordillera ang nagsukimat kadagiti bus kan van terminal iti Baguio City. Kaspasa ti Oplan harabas nang ipatungpal ti PDEA iti surprise drug testing kadagiti driver kan konduktor. Usar ti K9 sinukimat damat lang ti bagahe dagiti pasahero. Posible ang mawaswas ti driver's license dagiti agpositibo.
And once na ma-confirm na talagang gumagamit, then that's when we inform LTO to undertake the appropriate intervention in accordance with the drug-free workplace policy of the company, the bus company. Kasi merong ano yan hindi naman ibig sabihin na kulong yan Intervention means they will be subjected to rehabilitation.
Dagiti personnel ti DOTr sinukimat dati umno a dokumento ken kasasaad dagiti lugan, lisensya dagiti driver ken dadumapay. Mangibat patumpal dapay iti roadside inspection tapno matiliw dagiti agbabiyahe a kolorum alugan.
So part of our Oplan Semana Santa, ma'am, we ensure na roadworthy ang mga vehicles for the comfort and safety ng ating mga commuters, ating mga bisita.
Iti sa Balitay magkidkidawan ti may sa political group kan ti Concerned Citizens of Abra for Good Government Ti panakaipasidong ti probinsya iti Comelec control para iti masungad a May 12, 2025 elections. Iti datos ti Regional Peace and Order Council as of January 12 aging April 10 at dan iti 22 a shooting incident pinapasamak. 8 dito iti maibilang wenno na ibilang kas election-related incidents. At dapat ti upat a grenade throwing incident. Inlawlawag ni Atty. Torres at ti Comelec and Bank laang ti agdesisyon no may pasidong ti probinsya iti Comelec control baban iti rekomendasyon ti Provincial Joint Security Control Center.
Titingnan muna natin, i-assess din ng kailangan, i-assess din ng ating peace and order law enforcement agency sa Abra. Sa pagkaka-assess naman ng PNP, I think is kaya pa naman nila, no? Under control pa naman. Anytime naman, pwede pa rin tayo magdagdag ng additional forces even if hindi tayo mag-declare ng Comelec control.
Gapumadlang iti mapaspasamak na bukal ti Regional Special Operations Task Group Abra tapno mabantayan ti kasasaad ti election iti probinsya. Baban iti task group mapapigsa ti koordinasyon dagiti masaknan nga opisina para iti nakapya nga eleksyon.
Babayan din natin dali sa mahilig sila na mag-post sa social media na akala mo ang gulo-gulo na. No, it's not. Kaya natin yan. Yung mga pupunti lang ng magawa ng gano'n na pag-post sa social media dahil gusto nilang ang tingin ng tao sa Abra is magulo. Kaya challenging and concerning.
Dagiti damdamag manipud iti PTV Cordillera siyang ni Audrey Villana na Imbag Arabi.
Well, that's all she wrote for tonight. Join us anew tomorrow evening for yet another set of stories breaking at the hour. Keep in mind to always stay connected by catching the news right here. This is Denise Osorio wishing you all a much cooler and restful night ahead. And thank you for watching PTV News Now.